The rain poured relentlessly against the towering glass walls of Kingsley Enterprises. Inside, the air was tense. CEO Richard Kingsley strode through the lobby, his polished shoes clicking against the marble floor. His sharp eyes fell on James, the quiet janitor who had worked there for just over a month. James was mopping near the front desk, his movements slow, his eyes distant. Richard's patience was already thin. A big investor meeting was scheduled for the afternoon, and the lobby's gleaming floor now had streaks of water. "James," Richard barked, "I've told you before, this is unacceptable. We can't have this place looking like a train station." James glanced up, calm but firm. "I'm doing the best I can, sir. The rain makes it difficult." "That's not my problem," Richard snapped. "Pack up your things. You're done here." The other employees froze, eyes darting between the two men. James didn't argue. He simply nodded, set the mop aside, and walked toward the elevator. There was something in his quiet dignity that unsettled Richard, but he pushed the feeling away. Later that afternoon, Richard's assistant burst into his office, pale and breathless. "Sir, you might want to see this." She handed him a tablet displaying a breaking news article. The headline read, "Billionaire Philanthropist. Jonathan Pierce spotted working as a janitor in local corporation." Below the title was a photograph. James, in his janitor's uniform, holding the mop. Richard's stomach dropped. Jonathan Pierce was a reclusive tech magnate who had famously sold his company years ago and dedicated his life to charitable causes. He was worth billions, but he often disguised himself to understand the struggles of everyday workers. Richard replayed the morning's encounter in his mind, shame creeping over him. Why would a billionaire work as a janitor in his building? The answer came later that evening when Richard, determined to make amends, tracked Jonathan down at a small coffee shop. Jonathan looked up from his tea, unsurprised. "You found me." "Why?" Richard asked, sitting down. "Why here? Why like this?" Jonathan's expression was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "I invest in people, not just companies. I wanted to see how your leadership treated those at the bottom. You've built a profitable empire, Richard, but you've forgotten the human part of business." Richard swallowed hard. "I made a mistake." Jonathan stood, placing a business card on the table. "We all do. The difference is whether we learn from them." Then he walked out, leaving Richard alone with his reflection in the cafe's window, seeing, for the first time in years, a man he no longer recognized.